that people really know how utterly amazing the human body can be. Um, uh, it was probably about 10 years ago. I thought I was dying from cancer. You guys probably laughed at some of the videos. They're probably on YouTube. My hands and arms up to my elbows, and my legs up to my knees would feel like they were asleep. They'd get so numb, okay, that it was hard to sleep and wake up. Okay. And I thought for sure, because they tell you about all the symptoms if you have this or not, you're lying from cancer. But I didn't have the health care insurance to get diagnosed because it wasn't lucrative enough to make money off of the treatment. So I would go to the doctor and stuff. I went to the doctor and I didn't get, Rockefeller told me in my head, how this all works, how this corporation works, that is the United States, that mass murders its own people, and then makes a brain chemical addicted entertainment industry out of it. They call it politics, and they also have some of your biggest celebrities in your metroplexes make commercials. Michael Gopin just happened. We win and we win big. They make billions of dollars off of people being mass murdered, and it turned into an industry. They make these big commercials about it. I used to save people. I was an elite unit to save people. And then due to the negligence of a corporation, I needed saving. Okay. Tawny, Acosta, and Chaparro was like, didn't anybody tell him it's Acosta? He's from El Paso, right? It's Acosta. It's not Acosta. No, you've been accosted. I'm just kidding. You're like sitting there watching it go, really? Okay. Guys, what do you think Adolf Hitler and Joseph Goebbels and Joseph Mengele were all thinking about how their future was going to be? I'm sure they were thinking they were going to go down as the greatest people in the history of the world. The saviors of the entire fucking universe. The most beloved Ming Merciless and his, this is the guy that built all the robots that killed all my enemies, and this is the cloning lady that did my things again so we could get and then my statue. They all think that, right? They're not rational human beings. They don't think like Jesus Christ. They don't think like Muhammad of Mecca. Okay? Do you think Pharaoh knew that he was going to go down as this psychotic propaganda tool bag that was a mass murderer? That mass murderers in the future would use his giant monuments to genocidal insanity as tourist attractions for jokes about everybody wanting justice by watching an old real estate mogul's porno stash? Bob Crane, Shea Stalag 13 so. It's funny. And they make jokes about it all the time. People mass murdering their poor young people in militaries, genocidal training. They make movies about it. They make comedies about it. They make serious movies about it. If Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, it's a serious movie about, getting killed or fucked to death or whatever from all this dysfunction. If he's in it, it's going to win a Donnie Darko award. Okay? If Bill Murray's in it, it's funny. You're 13-1. You're the American U.S. military. America's best, right? And how many people throughout history do they write stories about to save us from all this insanity? Okay, and I'm one of those people. Earl, the son of Ralph and Mary, born in the Valley of the Shadow of Death. And you guys still have trouble comprehending and reading books. I think it's from brain chemical addiction. Like Mengele and Adolf Hitler and, Mussolini. You're going to kill all the people that need killing because they're just, a dredge on society. Their tax burdens is... Okay, you do know taxes aren't real. Jesus taught us that in the Bible. We're still having trouble reading and comprehending. Well, as it turns out, even Connecticut is Mississippi. when you get right down to it. Right, William F. Buckley's feeding farm? All right. It's a wonderful day in a neighborhood, a beautiful day in our neighborhood. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? They sprayed Roundup the other day, so I woke up this morning and realized what you had done and had a tingling in my arms and legs, which I kind of knew was coming. I felt it when I went to sleep. Suzuki's like, Earl, you're going to be uncomfortable and it's going to agitate things. And where they have the cancer cells rapidly reproducing in your body because of all the chemical poisoning. And you've gone in remission and kicked it out before with sunlight. And I think it's going to happen. Or you go, well, Earl, don't worry about that. HBCUs, some of the poorest universities in the history of we make money because we're insane, have stem cell research departments, and you have the best DNA in the whole world that you were denied being able to offer to a cancer research from a hospital for children in Egypt because, if people got a hold of your DNA, that's a game changer. Yeah, I know. We got a garrison of people here in Las Cruces that make sure that my plasma only ends up in the richest people's hands. We're all aware of that. But it's not happening. But we all want to get a hold of a billionaire real estate mogul's porno stash, and that will be justice. Really. If you could get the smoking gun of a billionaire real estate mogul's porno stash, that would be justice. We'd all be excited and happy. Okay, a bunch of obnoxious little ex-cheerleaders who talk shit about other people and make them commit suicide because they feel miserable about life, show up at one of Jeffrey Epstein's and Donald Trump's parties, and they're the sweetest victims in the whole world. And oh my gosh, it's so sad. They need millions of dollars because they were fucked at a party by Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and possibly Donald Trump and a bunch of other people like Stephen Hawking, the greatest genius in the history of geniuses, the most literate man in the whole literacy of the literal. Okay? Fuck, help me. I'm Gilbert Gottfried on crack. I'm stuck in this bottle with Jafar, and it's horrible. I got an itty-bitty living space and phenomenal cosmic power. I have the greatest mind in the whole world, and I think I love it. I'm sleeping and right in the middle of a good dream. You wake up in designer clothes because you're part of a mass mogul porno ring that can get a good settlement for your clients in order to have lots of money, go to lots of parties, and your only thought about justice is getting a hold of smoking gun videotapes of a billionaire real estate mogul who's a propaganda tool bag for brain chemical addicted military units, porno stash of little girls that are probably most likely real snotty bitches who had lots of little Janice Ians commit suicide because they wouldn't stop harassing them, telling how fat and ugly and stupid they were, and no more pepper alleys to cut. Okay? Guys, I control quantum computing. Donald Trump and David Rockefeller, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a dumbass. David Rockefeller and Philip Rothschild put me in a position to see things as a human being greater than any human being's ever seen before. And I don't want to see any of the Epstein files. I just want you guys to stand up for a living Messiah so you can live his applied physics of his perfect commands eternally. That's all I want to see. And if you're wearing designer clothes talking about justice on late night talk shows for probably $500,000 to $1 million a pop, yeah, we're big rock singers, we got golden fingers and we're loved. Talking about justice and talking about old men having sex with children is still happening. Of course it's still happening. We're not living the Lord's Prayer. You're stuck in Stalag 13 and you're 9. You got a big butt, no idea what's whack and what's dope. And the most beautiful, strong, protecting man in the history of the world told you about his porno stash. And you didn't have to get a smoking gun to hear about it. And the only reason it was a porno stash is because all the people, Kash Patel's girlfriend was in his bedroom through legal surveillance because of forgotten words and funds and ink stains that are dried upon some lie. Through cuffed hands around tin can, I pretend to hold you to my breast and find. I think that's what's his name again? The guy who wrote Pancho and Lefty. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm still having trouble remembering, Janice Ian's name from Mean Girls. I can't remember her name. I want to say Amy Paffrath. No, that's the lady who sells stuff on EA Sports Electronic Arts. No, what's it? Entertainment Tonight? Yes, gosh, damn! It's all just a big collaboration of. It's really hard having information flow through your head that people want to see and don't want to see and all this. Okay, just stand up and live the Lord's Prayer. Then all this stuff will just quiet down and I'll be able to just go rest, like it says in the book of Revelation, because, we can restore the ecosystem because we've forgiven debt and trespass. We can start, restoring the integrity of our polar ice caps, which is necessary for children. Unless, of course, you want to stop having pornos and put your brain on a robot like Sheldon, because you become more like him than yourself, because what makes you feel powerful is the capacity to manipulate people with your mind. Well, you got to love your mind, right? And love nature. Don't forget to love nature. But that's just political bullshit. Everybody knows love your mind and be addicted to your mind, and evolution is becoming a robot. Well, because you're a fucking psychotic genius whose idea of justice is watching an old bullshit artist, mega mogul, real estate tycoons, porno stash, right? And he knows it too. He knows, wait a minute, I'm going to go down in history. You've already gone down in history like, Hitler and Mengele, and so is Barack Obama. He got into office, was pretending to be like the Kennedys when Parsons was in Sierra Vista. And they told them straight up, we have quantum computing. People in the future are simultaneously watching everything you do and aware of everything you do on a daily basis, trying to find out when you're going to stop doing what you're doing and live the commands of your Lord Jesus Christ. That's what Rockefeller and Rothschild told them. Okay, we've linked the future with the present. Scientifically, we already have quantum computing by Y2K, most likely. And their solution to Rockefeller's and Rothschild's problem of taking away their power, Lord, Richard Rockefeller's solution, no, he didn't want to tell anybody either. He ended up dead in 2013 in a plane crash. Well, because he hated what he had become too. What about Mark Zuckerberg? I don't think Mark Zuckerberg is intelligent enough to hate what he's become. I think he's still like Barack Obama. Ends justifies the means. Okay. Camera 1, camera 2. A billionaire's porn stash. Okay. His meta glasses. It's pretty gross. Yeah, it is pretty gross. And it's hard to come to terms with when you wake up in the morning and you have, chemical poisoning pain reactions from your own U.S. military heroes that make the best softcore porn action movies in the history of horror movies. Yeah. I'm dressed up in tight pants, pretending to be Stan Lee's ego and imagination, and not standing up for the guy who restored the truth of Jesus Christ and Muhammad and is going to give us the Christ of Islam globally with his faithful love. And it's not happening because we don't have any videotape. Really. Okay. We just don't have anybody to speak truthfully without fear. There's no one on the planet. The Kennedys didn't have quantum computing, guys. Robert, don't take it to heart. Okay. My dad's better than your dad? Our dads are about the same. They believe the courtroom and politics can save us from courtroom and politics. And we all know that's not true. We all know the only thing that can save us from the courtroom and politics is somebody in a book called Revelation who can live the life of Jesus in the most disgusting invention that human beings can put together. to try to defame him and make him into a psychotic, lying Jim Jones, David Koresh type pervert. Or, don't forget Spencer J. Kimball, Everett Taft Benson, the Pope, the Pope's Bank, shit. Yeah. I don't want to know what happens with nuns having sex with nuns, and I don't want to know. I don't care to know what people do in the privacy of their own time trying to survive the hell of not living the Lord's Prayer. That's none of my business. Okay, Saving Silverman? All right, it's none of my business. All right. You apply the physics of the Lord's Prayer, there's going to be a lot less perversion. Okay, it's going to be wonderful for our ecosystem, especially the rivers flowing like they're supposed to across the fault lines that need that underground water pocket thing cooling to maintain what's necessary for life to function properly. If you understand Muhammad, salt water and fresh water don't mix, and so on and so forth. He's crazy. He's a crazy old man. He's just stealing the great science works of great scientists. Why are you still not using your capacity to communicate to restore the underground water aquifers in the Southwest to make sure the fault lines are not deadly to the animals that cause problems to the ecosystem because of their predatory type perception of, or your perception of their evolution? You damn dirty apes, you've done and blown it all up, all right? Do you understand? Dear Charlton, you know what self-righteous means. Thinking and believing you're right when you're obviously fucking wrong, right? Okay, all I want to see is justice, and that's looking to see if Ghislaine Maxwell's porno portion, it's got to be better than Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. No one wants to see them naked. Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm sure, just two women having sex. This is, Mike Riley, the head of the ROTC at Deer Valley High School, okay, having a debate with Earl Parsons, and the Persian girl agreeing with Earl Parsons, and then all the girls started to agree with Earl Parsons, and all the guys were saying I was a disgusting pig. Because I sat there and said, why doesn't gay porn, two guys fucking each other in the ass, get to be hot for Anna and the girls if lesbian porn is hot for you guys? And they're like, that's just gross, that's sick, you're a sick fucker, you're a pervert, he's gay, right? I was like, no, it's not my movie. I really don't want to watch it. I want to make my own porno of camera 1 and camera 2. Like Tia Carrera with Mike Myers and, and what's the name of that movie? Wayne's World, right? Are you mental? You psychotic hose beast? I did lose you about 13 fucking years ago. It was more than that, Earl. 17 fucking years ago, right? I think that's when you first started posting on YouTube. Okay, thank you. Are you mental? Oh, shit. It's been a long time coming. This has been a cruel, vicious fucking journey. It's taken a long time to get to the singularity with quantum computing because, please reveal my enemies to me and make this as loving as humanly possible. And these idiots get together at the Paris summits thinking they're being slick, right? Like we're making, what was the name of that movie? The one with, where Hank Williams plays Loki and the soldier comes in and we will not, and the propaganda, tool back. Do you understand it? Does Scarlett Johansson understand that they use her as a propaganda tool bag and that they program her while she sleeps? I mean, I get it. I knew it, but Jesus told me to roll with it. He's like, just keep giving them opportunities to stand up for what you're doing because you redeemed the Gospels back in, in the boat ride bedroom. Yeah, I did. And none of you should want to see it. Oh, Obama and Clinton and Biden already did. They were probably most likely watching in the Situation Room. And they weren't making the same faces when they allegedly saw them dispose of Osama bin Laden's body at sea, right? They're making totally different faces. Wow. She's hot. Yeah, she is. And She looks like a Kardashian, but she's real. No Botox, no surgery, no skims. Wow, that's a good looking. She's a very good looking young lady. Yes, yeah, one of the most pretty young ladies you've ever met or ever seen. She's very pretty. What's mostly pretty about her is the way she protects Ish and other people like that from bullying, from macho bullshit assholes that would rather run in front of a semi truck to get lots of money to go pay to fuck people in Nevada legally than stand up for the Messiah. And unfortunately, they didn't have to go all the way to Nevada because they had a place called Ciudad Juarez right across the border if you got a big settlement. And you could go George Jones yourself and be sandwiched between two really, really hot south of the border Mexican prostitutes that, because of the legal system and being able to purchase and own your own legal system at any time you want, that the age of the prostitutes, even though she's 11, but she looks like she's only 17 from a Winger video, right? Or a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. That too. Okay, it's wet t-shirt time, contest time, right? You guys are horrible human beings. Okay. And the horrible thing about it is you don't think you are. But that's a nice suit. Is that silk? That's his mama. Yeah. She sells sodas in cans to be a multi-millionaire and billionaire and tell jokes about it, while children are crushed in playing card apartments in Colombia because poor people are dying and we need to get rid of them. Most of them are living under the street in the Philippines anyway, and their brain activity is so bad, their mind is squirming like a toad. That kid's going to grow up to be a thief or a murderer or whatever and stuff like that. What options have you given them? They're in full-blown survival mode. They're being treated like animals, and then they act like animals, and then you have the audacity as scientists to judge them and think you have the right to judge them and incarcerate them and torture them, and then make jokes on movies for propaganda to hold food held hostage, and have real estate that kills people next to airports so you can spend time in airport lounges and sell them organic food and organic packaging, right? You're horrible human beings, yeah. Elektra can't figure out that Daredevil doesn't understand justice because he's not the Messiah, he's the accountant, and he's being held accountable by quantum computing. Past, present, future operate at the same time. They've linked the future to the past and the present. And you're all being judged on a daily basis. And the entire future is going, when are they going to stand up for Parsons and start applying the physics of the Lord's Prayer? Why do my relatives have to be such brain chemical, sick, addicted assholes? They're all like Adolf Hitler running around his apartment naked, okay, having sex with all the young men he sent out to go die at Normandy. So all the guys who have the football stadiums named after them can be heroes, right? And it's absolutely horrible. And when you look at your legacy, and then you go, wow, the Tuskegee Airmen, they got to join in the group. So black folks can drop bombs on poor folks in Europe of our enemies that we fucked to death with money, and then they're trying to fuck us to death with money, and the Lord's Prayer is just a big fat fucking joke that they laugh about in the judge chambers at all of our local communities' halls of justice. Dun, 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 dun. And you don't think they're watching in the year 3026 because they've probably blown it all up and replaced it with the GoBots and the Transformers using their imaginations. But most evidence points to the fact that they're still alive. They have quantum computing, collecting all the evidence of your dysfunction. And we've radically, one day, changed everything we're doing. And we're restoring those polar ice caps. And you're not sitting there doing time-lapse photography to advertise and sell food and drugs and boxes held hostage you called housing, and everybody either wants to get the Mazda, the Ford, the Mercedes, or the Honda little adventure camper, so you can be like all your military heroes who come back and tell you TAC is a miracle here, right? And the best air conditioning for a traveling psychotic killer box given to you by the technology of NASA. Everybody wants some Tang? What kind of Tang? Poo-Tang. Oh, how much money will it cost? And how much designer clothes is she wearing? Wow. Here, hook you up, man. Call Lowrider Oldies. Good call, good call. They act like you're their best friends and everything. Like they're ruthless bastards. But the idiot with the monkey coming out of his ass for propaganda, he can respect that. Don't respect him. He's a fucking asshole, and he's a brain chemical addict, and he can't even admit it to himself for 5 fucking minutes because he's got enough money to fuck somebody pretending to be his girlfriend in Pahrump, Nevada. And if you don't believe that, and if you don't understand me, okay, you're going to believe all the political contest signs in Las Vegas when you're driving around doing your residency and a comic routine before the blue guys. I don't know. The blue guys, they do acrobat stuff and shit like that. I don't know. Don't really care. No, I couldn't care less. How do you distract people from their time for money to fuck people that are insane? Well, I went and found people living under the street in the Philippines, and my wife is from the Philippines, and she has bad brain activity from this kind of activity. Help you, I will. I need more money. I would like to write a script for the next great Hollywood novel for us to all be distracted by, so we could be addicted to things like sex in our brains, because we act like animals in a lab at Caltech, and here comes Blossom. Whoa. Okay, do you understand? I'm not Joey Lawrence, assholes. I'm Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. I have the best collective brain activity in the history of the world at this time to save us from the history of the world. And if you don't believe that, all you think is justice is looking at Donald Trump's porno stash and wondering, are they going to have Melania at her prime getting mushroom tipped by him at his? In Jeffrey Epstein's plane? Yeah, let Mark win. And if you want some of the best porno in CEO, go in the back bedroom with Sheryl Sandberg. Yeah, she's a horrible person. I thought Priscilla Chan was a nice person. Well, because I could connect to her kids, and they seemed very intelligent. Like their young, half Jewish, half Asian Carl Sagans. What happened then? Oh, then I just kept working. Well, because Dolores Parr is perfect, and you know how focused Earl is. Focus. I got a little Japanese guy in my head. He keeps me focused. Everybody should have a friend like him, but not everybody does, especially not Kim Magashima. And he's Japanese. You'd think he would. And Michio Kaku, yeah, he's supposed to be one of the most intelligent people in the history of NYU. But NYU is a factory for mass murderers that talk people into lying down and enjoying the rape, so Connie Chung can make faces while Bob Knight drives really slow in the ultra fast lane while people behind him are going insane. He's a real fucking asshole. Not in Bloomington, Indiana. He's a goddamned hero. No, he's a real fucking asshole. He just sold lots of cars and lots of insurance for assholes in Indiana that go to buildings that call themselves churches with the people that have Touchdown Jesus in South Bend and say it's Jesus's football team that makes all the money for that corporation that pays lots of money out for the guys that pretend to listen to and talk to God and have sex with young children because they're made vulnerable by financial opportunities to invent crimes for you guys to all argue in a courtroom and then enjoy politics. Yeah, Jasmine, do you understand you're just as sick as the movies made by Disney about Davy Crockett because they're still making them and we should be living the Loris Burnout? Because if you can't, you got to understand we have quantum computing and everybody in the future is watching and wondering when you're going to recognize Earl and stand up for Loris Burr and tell Anthony Anderson not to take off his silk suit until he gets home because nobody wants to see him take it off. Right? Hell, I'm the most gorgeous man on the planet and nobody wants to see me naked, and I don't want people to see me naked because your taxpayer dollars have tried to poison me to death for being the most gorgeous man on the planet, regardless of what you guys think about Nico Carrillo's profession. Shake your money maker, and beat the hell out of that other fucking prostitute who works out all day to get money to fuck and get the girlfriend experience at prom. No, they don't need the girlfriend experience at prom. Yeah, they do. Why? Because they don't trust the person they're fucking and being fucked by. They have them sign pieces of paper from lawyers that are politicians to sit around through cupped hands around the tin can. I pretend to hold you to my breast and fine. That you're moving on the back roads by the rivers of my memory. So just always take your sleeve and pack and roll it up and stash it behind her couch. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. And always have that card for the lowrider lawyers in your back pocket, in your wallet. Yeah, make sure it's one of those metal fucking wallets, because maybe it's got a little scan code on it that can get you a discount, and some motherfucker with a scan gun could steal it while you're shopping. Yeah. If you're living the Lord's Prayer, all this make-believe psychotic bullshit just disappears and doesn't really matter. Right? So, I don't want to see Jack Diddley of Donald Trump's porno stash or Bob Crane's. I don't want to know who was in it, who was on it, and what they were doing. Okay. I just want at 17 to stop. Well, because I love people. And, you know, a Jackie Wilson song that Jackie Wilson sang but really never lived. Someone to share, someone to care, to be loved, because he was more like the comedian playing the record executive from House Party 2 than he was, you know, and he probably was already psychologically and biologically conditioned to be psychologically inclined to be that way before he was born by our tribalism and our abuse and our manipulation. You know, darker than night were the eyes of Felina, wicked and evil by Roses was in heat of, the place was in need of this kind of excitement. So that kind of brain damage and that kind of thought process was already in full swing, because it's the New Jack Swing with the, you know, making the railroad for the Kevin Kline, and to look at Selma Hayek's butt and think, God, that would be fun to play with. Yeah, but eventually that face talks. Okay? Well, the animalistic part of me has a crush on Jasmine Crockett, you know. And then she comes out in that suit thing. I was, wow, she's got a nice tuchus, you know. Then she starts talking to Anthony Anderson about selling products and aluminum cans and shit like that. And you're like, oh, man, wow. Well, that's all right. I looked around and found true love. So I'll get up and I'll keep fixing. I'm in control of the quantum computing, not the people that invented it. Artificial general intelligence is a last gasp effort of the mass murderer robot builders that sign pieces of paper that you agree to that are called laws that are not, to try to hang on to this Paris summit, you know. And we summited a long fucking time ago. You know, it's really sad that, you know, that they, you know, as a last ditch effort in 2006 took Parsons to Sierra Vista to try to control, you know, people they plugged into computers that were, you know, better than the people that plugged them into computers. Go figure. And then they invented quantum computing to protect them from the people they plugged in computers, exposing all their crimes and stopping all their business manipulation through invention. Yeah, and then go figure, and then it just keeps going. And now it's 2026. Okay, it's 20 years after they took Parsons and tried to destroy him and turn him into this pervert that they've been trying to turn him into just about his whole life by abusing the hell out of him every time he tried to be a decent person in their hell and survive their hell, and then just hope that they could shut it down themselves, because apparently they could understand what they were reading better than I could. But the only reason they wanted to understand what they were reading was to win against the guy that they were writing the books about, because he was eternally better than them, and he still is. And all the manipulation of quantum computing in the world isn't going to take that away, right? I love you guys. We'll talk later. See if you can show up and do things to start, you know, accepting the beauty of my love, so forgiveness can overcome the world, and we don't have to try to incarcerate you and sexually assault you in buildings, you know, because you still believe money's real, and we'll make entertainment about sexual assault in buildings and call it justice and entertainment. You're pretty sick people. Quantum computing, you invented it. I asked you to stand up for the Lord's Prayer in spirit. Year 1, day 1. I love you too. Peace out. Bye.